Welcome to Let's Get Writing. I'm your host, Catherine Taylor. Let's Get Writing is all about the writing process from creation to publication. And here is where you can find inspiration and ideas and meet the people behind the stories. And I think I have the best job in the world. Although my next guest might argue with me about that. He thinks he has it. Meet Jerry Cranford, publisher at Flanker Press, Newfoundland and Labradors. What, Jerry? Finish that for me. Yeah, source of your finest book. I put you on the spot right off the top. Hi, welcome to Let's Get Writing.
Good day.
So good to have you here. And it's a beautiful sunny day in Central. How is it where you are?
It's pretty cold, but sunny. You know, it's chilly. My fingers are kind of icy, but I'll get through
it. Well, you are in paradise.
We are in paradise. Yeah, that is true.
You are in paradise, literally.
Literally and maybe figuratively, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe, but you are there. You know, I did say when I opened the show that I think I have the best job, but you've always said to me that you think you have it. So where are we with this? Why do you feel that way?
Well, I have a great team of employees here. It's just a pleasure to come into work every day. I deal with, some of the most talented authors I've ever read. And I read a lot. I read quite a bit. But we've got some incredible talent here in this process. We've got award-winning authors, best-selling authors, and with good reason. They deserve every accolade they get.
Absolutely. And this hasn't happened overnight. This happened over a period of, I think it's 27 years.
Yep.
And it's a family business. And actually, I just want to bring up, if I can, back in 2017, I interviewed your father, and this was outside the Rogers TV studio. He was giving me a couple of books, and he was often on the road. He spent a good part of his time on the road delivering those books to communities and so on.
That's right.
Is that part of what you do, or are you more based in paradise?
No, I typically avoid physical labor, but that's Dad there in front of the what we affectionately. Oh, there's my cat.
Yeah, I wanted Momo. Is it Momo?
Momo, yeah.
Momo.
Yeah, there he is in a shoebox. Yeah. Getting back to there's Dad again.
Yeah, that's him on the set in 2017. One of the first interviews I did on this series was with your father. And
they're in person, so that's good.
That was good, but then he was back out on the road, and which was where you started. You were talking about,
yeah. So there he is, and you in front of what we affectionately call the Flanker-mobile. Both he and Mom, they still do this. They distribute books all across the province. Every month or every couple of months, we try to get our books seen by as many people as possible.
And that's one of the benefits of being with a publisher such as yourselves, that you do some of that work to help people get their material in the hands of the readers, which is always a challenge. And it's so nice to have a publisher on here, because I've interviewed many of your authors and authors from other publishers across the province and outside the province. But to hear from publishers and what their point of view is wonderful for readers and aspiring authors, perhaps. But I'm trying to think, when I interviewed your father in 2017, he actually had written a book back in the early 90s, I think it was. You can probably tell this story better. And that's kind of where all of this began.
Yeah. So Dad wrote a history of the famous Newfoundland schooner Norma and Gladys, it was a really good book. Anyone and it stands the test of time. Anyone who sees it around should pick it up. It's a great story. Dad's a really good writer. Um, so he shopped the manuscript around to a couple of publishers back in the day. A couple of them aren't around anymore. Harry Cuff. Um, and anyway, one publisher showed great interest in it, but time went on, and Dad didn't hear anything about it. So, getting impatient, he decided, you know what, I'm going to self-publish this. So he he enlisted my help and the help of his brother Boyd, to put the book together. Boyd has he had a really great background in printing and design and layout and that kind of stuff. So Cork Express, I don't know if you're familiar with the program. Uh, so he enlisted Boyd's aid and my aid, and we hammered it together in our living room, and it sold very well. It sold out of its first printing of, I think, 2,000 copies, and and I believe we did go to reprint. So after that, he had caught the bug, as they say, and he continued writing and publishing under the Flanker Press imprint. He did a book about the history of New Haber and Dildo, called Potheads and Drum Hoops, referring to the whale fishery,
Right.
and also From Cod to Crab, a history of Hants Harbor, Trinity Bay. And people started taking notice of what we were doing, and so they started bringing their manuscripts to us, and it just kind of grew from there to this, what you see here today. I mean, we're a full-time operation. We employ 8 full-time people, and we're probably the most active, prolific publisher in the province. I mean, I think I've got 20 titles lined up for this year, 20 new titles, that is. That's not counting reprints of other backlist titles.
And I'm not sure if people can fully appreciate how much work that is to say 20 titles or 12 months in a year. So start to put that together.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, Dad always kind of stood out front, as the spokesperson for Flanker Press and everything. And I was always kind of in the background doing production work. So I would schedule, the editing, the design, the layout, the printing of all of our books, and that task is what I do now today, as as well as run the company, so to speak. So I'm doing grant applications and reading manuscripts and manuscript submissions, and also continuing to do this production stuff. Editing as well. That's one of my great strengths, because I've always been a reader, and so I love to deconstruct and pick apart what makes a story work and what makes it not work, and I really enjoy doing it. So therefore, I'm pretty good at it because I enjoy it.
Well, I think if you do what you enjoy, we tend to be good at it. And that's not something that I would necessarily enjoy. I'd rather write the stuff and have someone like you have a good look at it. And that's all part of the process. But people say one of your best friends, if you're a writer, is an editor. Always you want a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you're the artist and I'm just a mechanic, kind of thing. I fix. There's a bit of creativity involved as well, and I have to be a bit of a salesperson, and there's a lot that goes into the role of publisher. But my passion has always been with writing, editing, and it's just really exciting to see the finished product. Here we have this intellectual property, the written word, and then it becomes a hard and fast book. So this is my son's book, Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon, yeah. We have some photographs of some of your authors.
Because, I woke up this morning and I said, "Oh my God, Not that I woke up, but uh, it's a year ago today that we released Nick's Snowmageddon, NL Snowmageddon 2020.
And
So
that's
uh,
amazing to have that, not only the publishing, but also to have your son involved. I know that you take a lot of pride in what happens at Flanker Press. I felt that when I spoke with your father, your mother,
yeah,
and I feel it from you. And I guess this is going to pass on to Nick. This is a true family business.
yeah, he's really proud to be part of it. He wears it like a badge. Uh, 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 his Facebook profile says works at Flanker Press. So you know, uh, he's very proud, I must say.
Yeah, and while I have him up here, let's have a look at a few of your other authors. Susan
Okay.
Flanagan, she was on my show last week. So anyone who wants to hear more about her new book, Supermarket Baby, well, go to YouTube and check out Catherine Taylor TV because Susan's there. Yeah. So these
Yes.
are your books. These are your books coming in at Flanker Press, I guess. What's going on here?
Yeah. So Susan showed up here at the office, and we buried her in books, as you can tell. And she brought in a bottle of champagne, and after this photo shoot, we celebrated the release of her book, and uh, she she's a really talented writer, and this is her first book, her very first novel, and it's an award winner actually. It won the Percy James First Novel Award, which it won as when it was unpublished, as yet unpublished.
Wow.
Um, but it's yeah, she's extremely talented. And you know something, a couple of days ago was International Women's Day, and it's always occurred to me that we have so many talented women writers here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I'm lucky enough to be able to publish them. Helen Escott.
See who here we
Oh
go,
yeah,
Helen.
Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's at the launch of her last book over the fall, Operation Wormwood: The Reckoning, and
Mm-hmm.
so Susan Flanagan, who you just had up there, and Emily Heptich. Her first novel, it was just incredible. The reviews were just raving about this book. She's a real up and coming talent. Her book that you see right there, The Woman in the Attic, it just won the NL Reads competition, the CBC and Newfoundland and Labrador Public Libraries Award. So that was very recent, actually, at the beginning of this month that she won.
Yeah.
So
And Jerry, I've had those all of those we've shown right now. They've all been on the show. So anyone who wants to see the full interviews, I just have to mention again, you can see them, and they're worth seeing. They were just delightful, wonderful, down to earth women, working in literature and just doing an amazing job, as you said.
they really are. Emily is a extraordinarily talented writer, and she's only 23 years old, but she's been writing her whole life. And just yesterday, I sent her second novel to the printer, and that one is called Alone in the Woods, or no, sorry, Alone on the Trail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a thriller set in the Grossmorn National Park trail area about four hikers who go where they shouldn't and end up paying the price.
Interesting.
So
I'm sure that's definitely going to be on my list. I really enjoyed her book.
Alone on the Trail. It's again, I mean, I feel she's outdone herself. It's every bit as good, maybe even better, as The Woman in the Attic. So I expect great reviews, and who knows, she might get a nod for an award or so.
You never know. And it's so amazing that you get to be part of these paths. And this photo, one of the last ones I have, is of, I think, your 25th anniversary for the company when you reached that milestone.
Yeah. So in 2019, that was our 25th anniversary. And it was a Saturday, and we with the help of chapters here in St. John's, we threw ourselves a little party, and our special guest of honor. You'll see her there receiving a gift from Mrs. Flanker, my mother, Margot. um, so this is Lee Haber. She is the books editor of O magazine, owned by Oprah Winfrey. So, we gave her all kinds of books, tartan scarves, chocolates made here in Newfoundland. Um, mm,
Well,
uh,
you sent her away with a good feeling, no doubt, and maybe
and
she'll.
we gave her a
Yeah.
couple extras to give to handle on to Oprah as
Oprah?
well.
Good marketing
Indeed.
there.
Well, you know,
Why
we like to
not?
give. We like to give.
Yeah. And you know, Jerry, I can hear the kind of the enthusiasm for what you're doing. And I had said to you, you it's obvious you love what you're doing, but you said to me, well, I've got the best mug in the world. Share it with us.
Oh yeah. So I have this mug here, which an employee gave me, world's best boss ever, and my son just brought me a coffee, so I've actually put the coffee into it, and it's a ever since this employee gave me this mug, I it really was an eye opener that people really enjoy working here, and you know when people, like, just the other day, an employee, Shelley, she stood in the middle of the hallway and stomped her foot and declared, "You know what? This is an awesome place to work." You know, non sequiturs like that, just out of the blue, that gives me that little endorphin rush, And
Yeah.
also when I hear uh, uh, that people outside the workplace, outside of normal working hours, are bragging about the fact that they work here. So, you know, um, move over Google, I suppose.
It's a good endorsement and they want you to live up to it, and it seems to me that you're doing just that. And it can't be
Thank
an
you.
easy job at times. Well, you're very welcome. I think you deserve it. You described to me when we were chatting before this interview that being a publisher is something akin to being a movie studio. So how so? Explain that one to me, if you would.
Yeah. Okay. So, like a movie studio, when a screenwriter submits a script to them, and it goes across their desk, and they say, "Oh, wow, this is an incredible script. We got to make a movie out of this." Well, the we are the book's equivalent of a movie producer. Um, so if a great manuscript comes across my desk, I look at it, and I read it, and I gauge the author and their CV. We always ask authors to submit their sort of resume with their manuscript, just so that we get a feeling for who they are, and where they come from and what their background is. Um, and so, like, as a trade book publisher, which is, I'm going to quote from a book about publishing that I think it might have been
Mhm.
Publishing for Dummies. That doesn't say anything about me. It's just, uh, but in comparing the different uh, publishing models, business models, trade book publishing is described in this book as the Rolls Royce of publishing models. So getting back to, as a trade book publisher, our our business model is, when we receive a manuscript that we really like and we want to publish it, we assume all the financial risk, which means we pay for the editing, we pay for the design, the printing, the marketing, the distribution, everything. The author doesn't have to pay a cent. I get asked that a lot. How much
Mhm.
does it cost to get your book published? Well, the short answer is nothing. And on top of that, I pay you a royalty for every copy that's sold. So if you convince me that I should publish your book, then you've got a professional team behind you. Uh, in similar ways that a screenwriter will get their movie made, well, we'll get your book made.
Hmm. And
But
Jerry, I mean, when in saying that you see the books, and it's a big risk for you. I'm sure by now you have a pretty good sense of what the market's going to go for, and but what kind of things do you look for? What do you want from an author? What kind of tips can we provide?
well, uh, we look at. I always love to quote Jack McClellan of co-founder of McClellan and Stewart, one of the big publishing companies in Canada. And he said way back in the 70s or the 80s, we don't publish books, we publish authors. So that's kind of stuck with me. And I always look for how is this author going to be, first of all, to work with? How are they going to be able to? How are they going to conduct themselves in media interviews? And are they connected to various organizations who will support them and their book? So the author um, is often the tiebreaker, the deciding factor, I should say, for whether or not a book will or will not be published, right?
Interesting.
These days, with social media and hero worship and people, basing their right or wrong, they're basing their value maybe on number of likes or number of Twitter followers. Well, that's stuff that is important stuff that we do look for. Do they have a good social media presence? That's one thing that we look for right away in an author. If they don't even have Facebook or don't know how to operate a computer,
It could
who
be a
knows?
handy. I can see where that could be a handicap. It would, not to say you wouldn't take the
Yeah,
book if it was exceptional, but today the
because the
marketplace,
competition,
yeah.
because all of the other authors out there are on social media, so the competition is fierce, right?
Mm.
Um, so your book is going to be on the shelves competing with someone who's got 1 million followers on Instagram. Um, so we hope we hope that you, as our author, are engaging with the public as well on social media platforms.
Absolutely. And in saying that, how many manuscripts would pass over your desk in a year? We know it's
Hundreds,
competitive.
hundreds,
Hundreds?
yeah, yeah. I was just
Hundreds.
reading 3 or 4 of them before the interview started. So yeah, it never stops. Yeah,
Wow. And
yeah.
I
I
guess
mean,
what you have a gut feel when you see a book, yes, no, yes, no. And again, the presentation that comes to you, I'm assuming it's in the author's best interest to have the best grammatically correct document in front of you, well presented, and so on.
well, I kind of like fixer uppers because I love the editing
Mhm.
part. So that doesn't really bother me if I see the typo or what have you. Um, but if a story, say a novel, has a lot of great meat to it, that it's well researched, that really catches my interest. Um, if this is a first time author, that's a that I look for that as well, because first of all, the kind of hubris of discovering a new hot author, but besides that, it's people get excited about new and upcoming talent, So so I know right away that the author would have that going for them,
Mhm.
newness.
Newness. Yeah, that's always good. Something fresh coming into the marketplace. I mean, it's a fact of life. Jerry, you have two imprints. You have Flanker Press and you have Pennywell. Just briefly,
Mhm.
maybe give us an overview of that because we are actually, these conversations go so quickly. We have a few minutes before we wrap up, but
You're kidding.
no, I know, but don't worry. We're going to jump on over to Instagram. I'm going to make you do that.
Oh, okay.
But no, really, Pennywell and flanker. What's the difference? Did he freeze up? Oh, there you are.
Okay. You froze on me for some reason. Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
you froze on me.
Oh,
You go. You go.
giving each other the cold shoulder. Okay.
Mm. Okay, so Pennywell and flanker. Sorry to bring it back to you. Tell us the difference. What are your two imprints there?
Yeah. Okay. So flanker press, I mean, is obviously the primary thing that we started this giant engine. Um, and Pennywell Books started in 2004. It was Dad's brainchild, of course. Pretty much everything here was Dad's brainchild, even me. Um, and uh, he thought of it as a way to differentiate between our main nonfiction at the time, uh, differentiate between that and say our literary novels or children's books. We published a play, the script, if you will, the script, yeah, the play of Kevin Major's No Man's
Mm,
Land. The play adaptation of that, we published that in book form. So that's a Pennywell project. But children's books, um, poetry, we've published poetry under the Pennywell imprint. So it was a way to kind of branch out and to um, increase our I don't know if you want to call it market share
mm-hmm.
in out there in the book world, uh, and it's kind of cool to see on the copyright page of our books. Pennywell Books is an imprint of Flanker Press.
Very
So
cool.
it's and I'm keeping it going. It started in 2004, and we've got a book coming out very soon by Don Baker from Gander
Mhm.
under the Pennywell Books imprint.
Well,
That one's called East Coast Counting.
sorry. Yeah, and Dawn's another author I've interviewed here. And, Jerry, there's so many things and so many things you're keeping going and hats you wear. Absolutely. If people want to learn a little more about you, I know you're on Facebook, and Flanker Press has their website. I believe it's flankerpress.com.
Yep.
And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to share some of these thoughts and stories with me. And as I mentioned, we're going to jump on over on Instagram and chat a little more. But we're actually at the end of our time together here on Let's Get Writing. I just want to thank you so much.
I had all these great jokes prepared and everything, but oh well.
You know what? Instagram, stand-up comedian. I'd love it. We'll do it all over there. You have such a great sense of humor. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, the pleasure was all mine.
Thank you.